He jumped right up there. He almost fell down, but he didn't. And now he's getting luxury. Now he's getting luxury accommodation. Yeah. He's got the window bed. Hell yeah, man. Good night. Good night. Good night, buddies. How's your bed? You wish it was lonely? A little more lonely over here? Oh, yes. No, you love it. Oh, I'm starving. And I passed Topeka. There's nothing on this side. Like, when you go through Topeka, there was nothing. But there's a McDonald's in 2 miles, probably 1 mile now. And the breakfast is about to end. I gotta make it. Also, I'm very low on gas. But Kansas City is the next city, like 40 miles. Oh, there it is. McDonald's. I gotta go all the way around. It's 10:30. This is when they stop serving breakfast. I think McDonald's somewhere. Of course, it's a freaking travel plaza, so it's...
Proceed to the route.
Hey, McDonald's. Oh, please. Baby. I can't even get out of the car. There's no time. There's no time. Let's find out. There's no breakfast menu.
Welcome back to McDonald's. Will you be using your mobile app today?
No, are y'all still serving breakfast?
Yes, we have breakfast till 11:30.
11?
We have both.
Okay, nice. What am I doing out here in almost Missouri anyway? Damn, there's snow. I'm going to get a lathe. The first machine I'm ever getting. Hey, look at all that snow. It's not even cold. Sweet. So, yeah, I pulled the trigger again. This is a good deal. The first day I got on Facebook Marketplace, like, officially, I've been on there. I've done stuff on there, bad deals, but this is a good deal. The guy happens to be from Santa Cruz, and it's a nice lathe. It's an old lathe, but why am I getting a lathe for the first thing? Like, why don't I get a mill? Well, that's the hardest thing to decide on, getting a lathe. One thing, you know, you can do a lot of stuff on a lathe that you need a mill for. You can still do it on a lathe. You know, you gotta get tricky, you gotta get fancy and all that sometimes, but yeah, also, like, if you get a mill, there's just some things you can't do. Certain sizes you're gonna run into, you know, problems using a mill. I can always, like, add. That's all I know. Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an old Atlas Coleman. The guy's never used it. He brought it over here from California 4 months ago, cleaned it all up, and yeah, just never used it. So when I found out he's from Santa Cruz, and I talked to him, he's a good dude. He left it all together. We're gonna take it apart so I can move it. It's just gonna be probably me moving it. But once I take off the motor and the legs, he said it's only about 225 pounds. I think I can manage. And it's gonna be a good
to get a big one. So much better through this camera. I'm just gonna drive watching the camera. Wow, this is. I can see like, dude, I can see so much more with this camera. Wow. What in the heck? It picks up the light like so much, so well. Dude, that's weird. But if you turn off the screen and dim everything, you can see really good at night. It's cool. Little tip I picked up from California: if it's just fog and not raining, open your window and it clears the condensation on the inside a lot better than the anti-fog thing or whatever it's called. be a great time to ride my bike in town. I can't wait to see it. But the names of these towns out here, Munchrath, McGargle, they're weird. Throckmorton, perfect time to listen to some Sasquatch Chronicles. I've been listening to this so I don't fall asleep. And this shit is so compelling, but I was gonna make the next video. Okay, the next video is going to be what happened in the video before the last video. Yeah, before this video. Yeah, no, before the last video. Before the video before the video before this video. Okay. Besides the bear and the cougar sounds, I heard something else, and you guys are gonna get blown away. But here's my take on the whole Bigfoot thing and the dogmen. Because the dogmen stuff is, I mean, if you research this stuff enough, you start to break it down, and the Survivor Man stuff, that's the most like compelling evidence right there. The stuff he comes up with is like it makes a lot of sense, and they talk a lot about the Gigantopithecus, which, if you hear so much descriptions of the Sasquatch, it makes a lot of sense. Like, you see the pre-man, bipedal things, and like no neck, like small head compared to the body. Like, yeah, it's definitely resembles a Gigantopithecus. And I come up with this, that this dogman is probably a little bit more advanced from what it was a long time ago, and I think it's the dire wolf. Now it adapted to like run, it can get up on two legs, and dude, that's what they call a werewolf. That's a dire wolf. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense. Like all the other giant things, like there used to be the mega deer. If you've ever seen pictures of that thing's scary, dude. All this stuff, and yeah, that would disappear. But the apex predators, they can still get around pretty quick and have run on all the game, and play. You only, like, Bigfoot it's pretty rare that people even see it, like wildlife. It's the most rare thing to see, but most of the stories you hear on the Sasquatch Chronicles and stuff is when people are out like in the middle of nowhere, and there's plenty of land like that away from cities in this country that, yeah, it's some good stuff to look into, in my opinion. If you're out there like that, yeah, it's a lot of hunters and people that live out in the middle of nowhere, and then they move.
Hey, get the fuck out of here.
Coming up on my turn here in a second. I don't want to miss it, so yeah, don't miss the next video. And this one's not over yet. Oh, you really cannot see. That big old sign's there, and it's pretty sketch. Yeah, it's gonna get bad now. There's a line of, oh yeah, it's already. Look at that. If I actually go another Sasquatch like watching, and the other one is like doing these things that's like to elicit some kind of reaction. And that just shows you that, you know, they're like what would you do, you know, if you're like an intelligent species, but you're curious but you're unafraid, you know, that's what they do. That's truth right there that comes out. You hear all these stories, like you wonder, what is this all about? And rarely do they ever attack people, and at the same time they don't like being watched themselves. You know, they're mostly just curious. But in my opinion, it's kind of just a matter of time. The more we get away from like our roots, and, you know, like, as a species, we're all animals, right? And in my opinion, we're losing our spot, and something's gonna come over and take it if we're not aware of what's going on out there. We better start like studying up on this and passing this stuff on, and not passing it off as like, you know, oh, it doesn't mean anything to me. There's a lot going on with that whole study right now, and I think this is a good time to really get an investigation going, and not wait for somebody to come up with like a body to prove that it's out there. I mean, over time, and this is a long period of time that we've been like collective, or in a societal realm, and it's getting more condensed, and also it's spreading out, yeah, but not fast enough where it's really getting more spread out, because the cities are getting bigger. I mean, every once in a while a new city pops up, but I don't see that happening that hasn't happened for a long time. Like, on the contrary, like, cities are disappearing. Like, they're wondering when is Las Vegas going to run out of water and become, you know, a wasteland. And that's another thing, the stories about these things out in the desert. Now that's where I'm at, and that's a whole nother thing. It's not Bigfoot country. It's not werewolf. I know what it is. I finally realized what it is as I'm driving along this trip, and I finally feel confident enough, I think, to talk about it. And oh my God, that wasn't good. I mean, that's a good analogy right there, though, for what I'm talking about. Like, we're losing the road altogether, in my opinion. And I'm going to start it right here, because what I think happened, what I witnessed, is probably just the fact that we don't know what's all out there, and I think it is something trying to mimic these creatures. And then, if we disappear, say, like, I heard a noise, okay? I'll talk about it, but had I, like, not been just dead tired, like, had any reason to get out of my car, I didn't. I just wanted to go to sleep. But had I done that, no, there's no way, dude. This is gonna blow your mind. This story is, it's gonna make you think. Like, you're not gonna believe certain parts of it, but I promise you, I know exactly where it was. Part of it was on film, so go back to the video where there was that tunnel, and I'm going to talk about that area a little bit. Ooh, it was creepy. Part of the reason I was gone, I mean, partly I didn't want to come back because of some stuff that happened on Twitter, but I was heavy into research, mostly at that time, and that's why I ended up on Twitter, I think, for a minute. Just kind of had to stop for a second and see what's going on. And I get on there at the worst time, but I'm glad I did. I witnessed what they call a Twitter storm. I've never seen one that bad. I've never seen so much racism, so much hate, and I go, forget it. Forget it. Everything that I planned to do, everything that I could talk about, I said, I'm going to keep it to myself. Fuck all you, all you bastard people like that. But it's just Twitter. That's why I left Twitter. I'm not talking to the main, oh, little bunny. It's just Twitter. If you've been on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. That's full of fucking shit-faced people. So I think this is actually the best thing to do, is to talk about it, while I'm talking about everything else. And it was kind of, really fucked up. Kind of crazy, mostly just really fucked up. A year before, I was on Twitter when this is the time of year, Thanksgiving. And they were talking about, it's not Thanksgiving, you don't call it Thanksgiving, you call it Indigenous Peoples Day. Well, the next year, we have Indigenous Peoples Day on the calendar. What do you know? It was like people just turned. I just forgot about it. I don't know what's going on, but I saw post after post after post, and I was on there for a couple hours, and I just felt like, man, we are done. That's the only thing that was in my mind. Just fuck everything. It's one of the saddest stories of the Bigfoot stories. There's a few of them. They're talking about these hunters. All of a sudden, the deer come up just like covered in like sweat, like grimy, and they literally like lay down next to the hunter, and all of a sudden just you hear something slamming through the trees, damn, that'd be, you can't imagine, like, you think you're afraid, but the deer come up and they are flipping out, dude. And yeah, they usually like mutilate animals. Like, we don't want that, dude. We don't want something like that taken over. I'm just saying. And yeah, the dogman is much worse than that. Much worse. To mention what I'm going to talk about, that's just when you get into this, like, the thing I'm going to be talking about, I have a buddy that I had to tell him because I needed some information, and I'll talk about that. But he's like, he worked with me the other day at our warehouse, and he's like, I'm like, yeah, no joke, man, like, this before and after, this noise was not happening, and And so he's like convinced, and he's like, I want to kill it. And I said, no, dude, I've gotten a warning that whatever it is, you do not go after this. And I mean, it's the same for Bigfoot and all that, but specifically, it's something that it can put stuff in your head. It uses mimicry to lure you. Like, okay, this is going to be a good story, but just hear me out, bud. You're going to get creeped the fuck out. And that's the next video. This video, I'm about to talk about another story that I've been holding back. I mean, I did talk about it. I pulled it, but here it is. Here's what happened. There's the train station. Yeah, the window is open. This was a good deal. I needed that. Let's talk. You know, things are getting harder and harder. This is what I've had to deal with. I did not sign anything saying that they could work on my vehicle after what they did to it. So I have a lot of videos with the Flex. And that's it. I'm giving it to a friend who's also in need. This is a hard one. I had to take this video down after I ordered this engine and it wasn't the right engine. So I was working on this car and I did everything I could. At one point I took it back to the shop and I said, well, this is my chance to, you know, go and find out before it shuts off again. Every little thing I was doing, it run a little better, you know, seem to do something. Yeah, and then I drove it halfway, you know, across the country to pick up another motorcycle, another vintage parts bike for the engine, and when I got back, that was it. It wouldn't go. But I did take it to them, and they told me, oh, we can't do anything further. We got permanent trouble codes, and that's why I took it to them. But they said, oh, we have to get it into the shop and hook it up to our machines to see what's going on. No, that was the owner of the shop, and he knew damn well what was going on. I said, well, if I can't find the problem, I'll bring it back. And I kept working on it. The really only thing I had left to do was swap back in the old fuel pump, and I thought it would fire up because it was a crappy aftermarket part, but no, it was no good. Well, I had it towed to them, and there's no reason this should be in the shape it's in. I did not take it in like this. It was, sputtering, and that was it. I couldn't get it to fire up after that. Within a half an hour, they told me, oh, looks like you need a brand new engine. The crankshaft, the keyway is wallered out. And I go, holy shit. Because when I started having this problem was right after I got it back from this same shop. I had them change the water pump. And I remember seeing like a log somewhere on my receipt saying that the crankshaft bolt is loose. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Isn't that something that, they should tell me about, or let's talk about this or something? I just let it go. Okay, my car's fine. I just paid him $5,000 fucking dollars for the water pump, which I wasn't going to do it, but I said, whatever. They had a real convincing guy working for them. Well, after this, he quit, or they let him go or whatever, and they're much worse. I thought this guy was, they're what was bringing him down, but that's not the case. I go over there to pick my car back up. I'm like, no, I talked to the guy about doing like swapping it over to convert it, whatever. What do I have to do to convert this to four-wheel drive? Is that something you guys want to take on? And I said, no, it's too much work, unless you're going to pay a bunch of money to do it. I said, well, he told me how to do it. So that's a little bit of proof that, these guys they wanted to give me something after what happened. What really happened is somebody forgot to tighten down that bolt. I guess an inspector came along, or that's how they put it. That's what they wanted to seem like happened. That it's not their fault that it got ruined. And when it was being worked on, for some reason, they're like, it'd be better to just get a new engine than to do this water pump, to go to all the trouble. And I'm like, what the hell? Why are they saying this? I think that it was already messed up, that they put the pump back together, and it's just dawning on me, this is probably what happened. Because it took a couple months to do that water pump, and I'm like, what the hell? What is taking so damn long? But I was just waiting. Finally get it back, and, instead of telling me what was wrong, they just gave it back to me. They could have got me a new engine and said, we messed up, do something. I spent the next 2 years trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I think that they forgot to do that. It's a simple mistake. You have several people working on a car. That's why I won't take it back to a mechanic shop, because you should have one person working on it that knows where everything's at, put it right back together the same way you pulled it apart. So that's why I've got a lathe. I'm fucking done, especially after this. I can hopefully make my own parts, go to the junkyard, find, spare parts, or, machine whatever else I need, bolts that I might be missing, and I'll be good. I ordered another engine from United. I'm going to say that. I pulled this whole video before, because after dealing with these guys from this engine, it's just not the right engine. I paid $2,500 for a low mileage 2013 engine. I knew this one was smoked. I talked to the general manager, who finally admitted, when I called him back about this engine, I was like, what the hell is this? I mean, look at it. I got it, and the only reason I took it was because I'm like, that's not enough to worry about, you know. But I contacted that guy again because I have shit like this. This is rusted out. This is not a low mileage engine, nor does it say a 2013. I have the fucking emails. And here's that email. First class engines, sorry. 2013, low mileage, engine cooler, $2,500. Bullshit. Okay, but after I talked to the same guy who was like, yeah, I'm gonna get to the GM, make sure you get a good engine. And then I talked to this guy again, and he was a jackass. And he finally was like, I was like, well, you know, give me the name of your general manager. I want to talk to him. I am the general manager. The reason I pulled this video, somehow my text got erased. I couldn't fucking believe it. But that's why I didn't mean to be all rude, condescending in my last video. Like, you know, good luck if you're trying to do this, but it's gonna get harder and harder to find shit to work on these things, because I mean it doesn't matter anyway. It's going all electric, so that doesn't matter to me. I've got projects to do. I've got plenty of time. We got like 2 more weeks and we're done with operations at the restaurant, and yeah, that's where I'm at. So it's time to let this go. Just giving it to my friend. His grandpa's got a engine shop, and I've got stuff to do. I'm not complaining. Y'all got to know why I've had a hard time getting back into it. But I'm very, very excited where we're going now. And yeah, if I run into problems with this, I'll be real surprised, but that's not gonna happen the same way. If I do run into problems, I'll have a solution, or I'll find one myself. And I can't thank dude from Santa Cruz enough. That's probably a really hard thing to let go. But dude, hooked it up. I've got stuff to practice on. Yep, some aluminum, which is good. It's not gonna break. I'm not gonna break this machine. It's gonna be an invaluable resource. I may have left a belt, but I see one belt, but there was like a vintage belt, which was cool, but I don't necessarily need that. I can find the right size belt. But wow, I can't believe this. I've been talking about going back in time. That's funny how things work. Funny. And speaking of time, my friend's coming over to get some bud, actually. I don't smoke anymore. I told him I was gonna fill up the tires and be ready when they come and pick it up. But yeah, he's coming over, so I want to fill it. I'm gonna take this out there at least. Probably smoke one last bowl in the vehicle, because I never got to really enjoy it so much. But